There is a ton of lore for this set, so if you want to skip it, there's a timestamp in the description. I tried to do my best to tell the story. I hope you guys enjoy it. To briefly recap the Sin War, the renegade angel Inarius and demoness Lilith used the power of the World Stone to create a realm to hide from the eternal conflict. And they and their followers eventually produced offspring who were equally demonic as they were angelic. Terrified by this potential power of these beings, Inarius used the World Stone to limit the power of the Nephilim and essentially create frail, mortal humans out of these potentially godlike beings. Eventually, Heaven and Hell found sanctuary, and Inarius was punished for his crimes. The Anguirus Council voted to spare humanity and negotiate with the demons to declare sanctuary off limits to both sides during the eternal conflict. When the Prime Evils orchestrated the war in Hell that led to their defeat and exile to sanctuary, Tyrael recognized that this was merely a gambit, a mean for these three astonishingly powerful and corrupt beings to walk the face of sanctuary and work their will on the unopposed. Humanity still contained the potential for power on a scale that dwarfed either of their parent races, even if it was held in check by the might of the World Stone. If the Prime Evils were free to corrupt souls in sanctuary without reprisal, the eternal conflict may end up tipping towards hell, and that could not be allowed. And thus the Horadrim were born. A group of Sanctuary's most powerful mages were formed at the hands of the Archangel Tyrael and given the task to hunt the three Prime Evils that had been banished to Sanctuary. The group consisted of 10 powerful Horadric mages, and being one of the most powerful mages in the world, Tal Rasha was named the leader of the Horadrim. Of the three brothers, Baal was the second Prime Evil to be found in Sanctuary, and took refuge in the city of Lut Golin for 3 days. During this time, the Horadrim planned an attack on Baal, and once Baal left the city, he was confronted by the mages. During this fight, one of Baal's attacks shattered the sacred soul stone that was supposed to imprison him. Tal Rasha, however, subdued the raging demon lord and gathered the largest of the soul stone's shards, trapping Baal's destructive essence within. While accounts differ as to whether it was Tal Rasha or Zoltan Kulle who made the suggestion, the idea was put forward that a human body might be able to contain the demon's essence by fusing a shard of the soul stone and kept it to their body. Unfortunately, the host would be left to wrestle with the demon for all of eternity. Without hesitation, Tal Rasha stepped forward to volunteer. It was at this point that Tyrael appeared, leading the Horadrim to an old burial chamber. Binding stones with runes of containment were built, and Tal Rasha ordered his brethren to chain him to it. As the mages looked on in sorrow, Tyrael jammed the soulstone shard into Tal Rasha's heart, sealing his fate forever. The powerful Horadrim was sealed in the chamber and departed from the rest of Sanctuary to fight with Baal for what was to be eternity. As we all know, the tomb of Tal Rasha was eventually found by Diablo, who under the guise of the Dark Wanderer sought to free Baal. By this time, Tal Rasha's essence had been consumed by Baal, which also gave the Lord of Destruction insight into the Horadric knowledge. As the Wanderer, Diablo entered the tomb, but was confronted by Tyrael. As the two battled, Baal called out to the Wanderer's companion, Marius, begging him to release him. Marius was compelled to do so, and plucked the soulstone from Tal Rasha's chest. This freed Baal, who now had control of Tal Rasha's body. By the time Baal reached Mount Arreat, no trace of Tal Rasha's physical form remained, and his physical form was destroyed with the destruction of the World Stone. Tal Rasha was a brave heraldic mage and sacrificed his own life to try and save mankind. He leaves behind 12 items found in the Diablo universe, 5 of them to be found in Diablo 2. Let's check them out. What is going on, YouTube? LordZhangFei checking in. Pretty hyped to bring you this video. It's probably my favorite set. Read the thumbnail right, your Cold Sorceress can easily do Ubers, so if you just started ladder and you don't want to make a smiter, stay tuned. Be going over all the items. Hope you guys enjoy that lore. Let's just get right into the items here. First item up, Tal Rasha's Lidless Eye, Fire Mastery, Cold Mastery, Light Mastery. You know the drills. 20 FCR. I do gotta say though, I wish that was minus 15 cold resistance instead of skill damage. After the recent nerf, that would certainly make this better. You have ours socketed with a Facet. Tal Rasha's Heraldic Crest, pretty useless. 60 life, 15 all res. Cold Facet, it's better on a merc. Tal Rasha's Guardianship, definitely a big ticket item you want to find early in the ladder. 10 FCR with 2 items, huge MF, decent resistance, a very, very good armor. You have ours with another Facet. Tal Rasha's Fine Spun Cloth, more faster cast rate, more MF. What more could you want? Guess you put on an rack, might be a little better, but Tal Rasha's Amulet, 10 FCR, life, mana, 2 swords, definitely the best item you can find in normal. And with the set bonuses, you do get 3 sorcerer skills, 10 rep life, 65 MF, 25 FHR, 50 all res, 150 life. Very cool, fancy aura. Definitely a set you want to try to get, especially early ladder. Let's just see how we did this in Lord of Destruction. So we couldn't do this with a Cold Sorceress without a Sunder. So we used Meteor and Fireball against Pisto, and then Lightning against Diablo and Bale. So we did have to respec mid-fight. Some of the items we used: Phoenix Monarch, bunch of Facets, Infinity Merc, which is definitely possible without that Infinity Merc, 2 Stones of Jordan, Marowaks, Magefist, and a whole bunch of badass G's. Again, this challenge for the Resurrected, no Mercs, no life for GCs, and no high roots. Definitely doing it a little bit different this time. Let's just get right into the gameplay and check it out. So we do need to get faded. We're going to be using Spirit Ward Shield. Super underlooked shield, man. No one ever uses this. Quick 50 all res if you're trying to do that. Certainly beats swapping out Treachery, if you ask me. We're going to pull Mephisto, and this is kind of where the strategy begins here. And you want to get him to spawn as many cold mages as possible. So what we're going to do is just spam Blizzard over all of his summons. Obviously, we don't have our Sunder right here, so we're going to keep the cold mages alive, and they're going to heal us with the ridiculous amount of Absorb that's on Blackoak. So we'll sit here and spam Blizzard and get him to spawn as many of these guys as possible. I want to say the threshold for your survivability is about 10 to 12, maybe 15, where you can just sit there and continuously spawn it. Spawn it until he will not spawn any more guys. And then just lay into him with Blizzard. He will die super fast. He had full health when I started to clip it. Super dead, very easy. Let's go get our Sunder Charm. And we're going to be just crutching off of those guys. We got our Sunder. Let's pull Diablo or Bale over here. Either one. I think we get Diablo in this run. And there he is. We want to get our cold mages to come to the fight. These guys are going to keep you alive, and you will never die as long as you continuously do. Go ahead and pull Diablo into the fray here, and we're just going to be able to stand toe-to-toe and just lay into him with Blizzard, lay into him with Static and Ice Bolt, and he's just going to die really fast. Super fast strategy here. This is definitely the easiest way to do Ubers with Sorceress. This was done pre-patch, so this does not include the recent nerf to Cold Mastery. I've recorded a lot of these videos. But I don't think it'll make much difference. Maybe adjust it here a little bit.
put on a death act or something. Same strategy with Bale. Play into him, Blizzard, Ice Bolt, Static, and you never die. Definitely a GG strategy here that I don't see being used much. They have a similar build with Rising Sun, but if you want to use Blackoak to do the same thing, it's arguably safer because it doesn't proc anything like Rising Sun does. Here's the gear: Tal Rasha's weapon, mask, amulet, godly Blackoak shield, Magefist, RavenFrost, random NSCR rings, res, Natalya boots. There's a spirit ward. Just die though, because that Cold Sorc is not good enough. Spirit ward there. Some good Anni and Torch. 5-all res, playing cold skillers. Not a huge investment, but you'll notice how fast I killed him. Honestly, you probably don't need any of the cold GCs if I'm being honest.